Understanding how to defend Theme Park is a half job of knowing how to attack it. So without any further ado, let's see how to defend Theme Park, all 4 sides. If you have any questions about the video, drop the comment down below, or catch me on the Twitch stream every weekend when I'm doing the ranked round analysis. Link is in the comments down below. You need to know following calls: yellow or yellow hole, dragon, split, and box. Let's start with the Armory and Throne, and first how I would like to play if I have a SoloQ, I will go with the Valkyrie with a camera on the east balcony, in open and around Dragon Stairs. The reason for these cameras is that they will allow you or your team to flank attackers in case they are pushing for the maintenance and Dragon, which usually happens. I will start playing in the cache, destroy a couple of drones, pull to the toilet to destroy another few drones, and then you can play in the waiting or bunk with the hatch opened. You can open it yourself, but it will take a bit of your time. Let's see the 5 stack. For the reinforcements, you need to reinforce the walls facing the maintenance. Yellow and the last 2 objective reinforcements should go facing boiler. So with the other 4 reinforcements, you should go on the top and reinforce walls facing cache. And that's 2. And the last 2 reinforcements should face control. The reason for these reinforcements is because of the vertical angle that attackers can get in the objective. They can clear out pretty much both objectives and the split from the hatch. And for these reasons, it is heavily recommended to play on the top with the utility and at least 2 players. About the rotations, you will need them on the top. Office to top yellow and initiation to bunk. You can pick just one out of these 2. But if you plan to play 3 people roaming, then go with both rotations. For angles, you might want to open up the control room, as then you can from initiation throw a C4 on the attacker in the maintenance. Speaking about that, open up the top part of the walls by the maintenance and boiler's wall, so you can impact trick. Even if you don't have impacts, open it, so attackers have to worry about these. Having them close gives attackers an immediate idea that you won't be contesting the walls with the impacts. And with this all in mind, kite or bandit tricking or both is definitely recommended. For the bard, you will need one in the split and the other one inside of the throne. I have forgot to mention to open up the leg level line of sight so you can shoot the feet and overall deny the push on the armory. You can bring a pair of the barbed wire on the top, one in the security by this desk, so they are forced to go very exposed by meleeing it, or to vault over this desk. The other barbed wire can go in the middle of this long hallway with another feet angle line of sight over the cache from the waiting. I will explain the reasoning in the next defense. And the final thing are the spots where you can be in the objective. So you really want to have 2 people in the objectives, one being in the throne and the other one in the armory, as then you can very easily establish crossfires on attacker, no matter from where they push. If they didn't open up the walls, then playing behind the throne is powerful. If the maintenance wall is opened, playing around the boiler wall is okay. But be aware of the dragon doors. You can play anywhere on the north side of armory. For the roamers, make sure to play a bit more aggressive on the very start to get the early drones, and slowly retreat back. The roamers want to be playing around the Bunk Day Care and the office, as with the rotations you can stall the top floor push. One more reason why having roamers above is a must, it is because of the yellow walls. If those walls gets opened, you're screwed. Also, be aware of the takers having a flank watch in the tellers, with the melee hole. If you want to see some lovely setups on all maps and objectives, including Theme Park, make sure to go to my subreddit's Wikipedia. Link is again in the comment section. For the second objective, let's go to the initiation and office. It is usually recommended to expand your defense from the initiation to the bunk and day care, so your roam play is even better then. With having that in mind, we will have 4 reinforcements at the office, 2 facing cache and 2 top yellow. Then we will reinforce the 2 walls facing security, and we are left with the 4 reinforcements that should go to the daycare facing cafe's hall. These are pretty default reinforcements. The objective ones are keeping attackers off the objective. And the daycare walls are there so you can play more safely in the bunk, daycare, or even the long hallway. For the rotations, you will need between the sides, from the office toward the waiting, and the waiting toward the initiation. Since you are expanding to the bunk, having a rotation between the initiation and bunk, as well as having a rotation between the bunk and daycare is recommended. These rotations will enable you to play more fluid around the whole top floor. We will repeat one feet level angle of the cache from the waiting, but we will also open up the other wall facing cache, again feet level. The repeated angle is there so attackers cannot just enter in the cache, and since it is actually a feet level, attackers cannot get anything from that angles. But defenders only can peek them, so that's a win-win situation. This feet level will also make hard breachers, or especially Termite and Maverick, harder to open the cache to the office walls. You can impact trick other hard breachers. The other feet level hole is made for your early games, as one defender should be located by the box in the early round. For the barbed wires, you will need 2 same as in the previous defense, in the mid hole and the security, but you will also need a utility by the middle yellow stairs. You can use a goo mine, welcomed, Grishmot mine, Malusi's whoop whoop, or a barbed wire there. You want to know if you are being pushed on the yellow, as it literally cuts your defense in half. Speaking about that, you will want to play more aggressive onto the cache with the player in the toilet, as well as in the box. The box player can retreat to the safety within the first 40 seconds, and then you can play around the cafe, arcade, or bunk. You will need 1 more player supporting him. That's so far 3 people. There is no reason not to play in the initiation, and the last person can lurk or roam somewhere below. As for the actual anchor spots, aside from the toilet, office doesn't have that much, but initiation has one powerful if the walls were not opened, which is over here. Speaking about the walls being opened, try to contest them as much as possible, as well as the middle hallway push. Another way to hold this objective will be by expanding to the bunk and daycare, but not having a rotation between the initiation and bunk. This will mean that you will have 2 extra reinforcements left, as you don't need daycare's 4 reinforcements, but you need to reinforce the rotation. If you plan to do that, make sure to destroy this wall so they cannot bypass your bandit or kite with an exothermic charge on this wall. The SoloQ approach will be most likely to play around the bunk and daycare, but after you were the aggressive player in the toilet. The next defense is bunk and daycare. For the SoloQ, you can use a mice shield on the cafe and stall the cafe push as much as possible with your discs. Alibi could also be an interesting pick. For stack, we won't be extending to the initiation, but we will to office. The reason we can extend to the office is because, with the rotation that we will have there, we'll be able to hold off attackers even further from the objective. We'll be playing similarly like past, but a little bit mirrored. Reinforcements should go 4 toward the cafe hall, 2 toward the initiation, and the rest 4 are going to help you to play extendedly to the initiation and office, similar to the first defense. Aside from the already set rotations between the office and top yellow, you will need one between the objectives and also a rotation between the arcade hall to the break room. This rotation is required so attackers cannot just repel in the break from the outside. For the barbed wires, you will need them by the arcade stairs, in the middle, in cafe, and yellow. You need barbed wires in the mid and not above or below because you won't be playing by the stairs. Therefore, you're forcing attackers to get more exposed if they want to melee it. Note that the barbed wires can be replaced with any traps, whoop whoops, or anything else. This is also recommended in the rank against lower coordinated teams to have a shield in the cafe to stall that push. For the positions, you will need 2 players to hold either office and initiation, 1 person should be in or around cafe, contesting attackers that want to push there, 1 more should be around the arcade hall, and the final person should be in the bunk. For all these 3 defense, expect attackers in a coordinated stack to push from the same way, security and the cache. There could be some, but very minimum vertical plays from the takers, and that is why we were in these tough lower threads extending ourselves horizontally, then vertically. Now for the final bomb side, which there is no reason to even try to think about defending, as all other three are pretty much defended sided. Let's start with the reinforcements. There are 6 in the lab. The last 4 reinforcements are dependent on you. I will reinforce the 2 maintenance walls as well as the 2 tellers walls. You can take this very similarly as the previous defense, extending horizontally. If you are going to do that, you will need line of sight rotations on the barrel walls from the lab hole. It will be required due to a crossfire from the throne and the hole. Another option is to play vertically, but using 2 reinforcements on the lab's hole, and the last 2 reinforcements reinforce the wall between the bunk and initiation. The tough walls will allow you to play a bit more safe on the top. As a takers, it is nice to have cafe control prior to the execution, due to the vertical angles. For the rotations, you will need inside rotations on both walls. And for the offside rotations, it really depends on what you are doing. You will need 1 player in the toilet and 1 in the lab. You can roam off the side with the 3 people, again depending on where you have extended. Thank you for watching this video and staying with me for this long, and thanks all the patrons and YouTube members for making this video available. If you want to learn all the basics and advanced things about the siege, make sure to give me a like, subscribe and click the notification bell to get all notifications from my channel. Make sure to give me feedback down in the comment section below.